All right, truth seekers, becoming truth speakers. Let's get back to it. I ran out of batteries earlier today, so now we're back at it. And we're just gonna start off. You got the recap already. The best way to appreciate this knowledge is to use it. So here's that thing again, Donald Trump using Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf playbook, says world expert on Nazi leader. Mein Kampf is 47 in reverse reduction, Trump is 47 in reverse ordinal. Mein Kampf is also 88 in ordinal, Trump is 88 in ordinal. Apprentice is 88 in LCH Kabbalah. So if you learn how to read the headlines for what they really are, meaning knowing the code, the puppet show is always clearly revealed. Without the code, things can become muddy and confusing, which is just the way the tyrants want it. Imagine what it is like for the unknowing person. One day, Trump is the first Jewish president. The next day, he is touting around Mein Kampf. Right? With the constant back and forth game the media always plays, they want to make sure our heads spin and put us in a mental state of vertigo. Remember, it is always easier to control people who are afraid and confused, which are tactics straight from George Orwell's 1984. In the words of Orwell, war is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. Speaking of Hitler and Mein Kampf, it leads one to think about the fictional Holocaust brought to life in Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List of 1993. Of course, the name Spielberg equates to 93 in ordinal gematria, same as propaganda, and pairing nicely with the year the film came out. Again, when it comes to Israel and false Jew lies, it's all about the number 93. More recently, on January 27th, 2017, on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, Puppet Chump, very purposefully was used to create the most ironic of headlines. On that date, he signed what became known as the Muslim ban, which was a narrative in the hit TV show House of Cards from months earlier. Interesting. Or coincidentally, right? Would you believe the gematria of Muslim ban? Muslim ban is 58 in reverse reduction. That was also a date with numerology of 45, corresponding with Trump's number, as well as geometry, where gematria is geometry in language. And this story, to the lunatics in charge, was seen as some kind of historical symmetry. Even worse, the word mosque shares gematria of 45. On January 27th, 2017, 1 plus 27 plus 17 equals 45, the same as mosque, in a single reverse reduction. It was also the right date for a symbolic move by the President of the United States from the land of the headquarters of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Notice how the dates can be written 127, something like the number 127, connecting both names. President of the United States is 127 in septenary, and Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is 127 in reduction. The very next day, January 28th, an Islamic Holocaust went up in flames in Victoria, Texas. An Islamic mosque went up in flames in Victoria, Texas, where the name of the structure was the Islamic Center of Victoria, having gematria that perfectly corresponded with Holocaust and President of the United States. Islamic Center of Victoria is 114 in reduction. President of the United States is 114 in reduction, and Holocaust is 114 in ordinal. Just in the base ciphers. Simple decoding, deciphering. Victoria, Texas, and the name of the structure also connected to Freemasonry. Recall the number 58 symbolizes Freemasonry, and the number 147 symbolizes Freemason, the President of the United States, and much more, as we have learned. Victoria, Texas is 58 in reduction, and Islamic Center of Victoria is 147 in reverse reduction. After the fire, the media treated the blaze as a mystery, but again, by knowing the code, there is no mystery to be had. Again, everything in the mainstream is propaganda contrived to control the mind's eye of the masses, and made with the intention of keeping people pitted against one another, instead of the common enemy of humanity, who are the synagogue of Satan. As you examine the headline below, know that the Zionists control Associated Press as well as Reuters, in addition to the rest of the media outlets across the entire globe without exception. Yes, even Breitbart and Democracy Now! That is something that needs to change. There needs to be a real source of information that is of value and empowers people instead of purposefully leading them astray, as mainstream news does on the daily. Here's another headline: Texas mosque destroyed in early morning blaze, cause unknown. By the Associated Press in Victoria, Texas on January 28, 2017 at 4:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Another headline from that same period of time was the death of John Hurt at age 77, who was the lead actor in the film adaptation of Orwell's 1984, a film that was appropriately released in '84, 33 years before his passing. Hurt died just 5 days after his 77th birthday, January 27th, being born on January 22nd or 22-1. In ordinal gematria, the Bavarian Illuminati sums to 221, who we will learn more about in the chapters ahead. A Masonic and Jesuit order established May 1st, 1776, just before the American Revolution, and which is recognized in some history books as being the responsible party for the French Revolution, that other red, white, and blue nation. On a related note, Donald Trump became president on his 221st day of being 70 years old, January 20th, 2017. Just a week before Hurt's passing. As you examine the headline, please recall the significance of the number 77 to Washington, D.C., on the 77th meridian west, as well as how it represents the word theater, in light of Trump being the 1984 Puppets candidate. There it is, actor John Hurt dies at 77 by Ellie Kammermer on January 27, 2017. As I have already mentioned a number of times, there is no one who has ever been an employee of this cartel that hasn't been killed by the code, and Donald Trump will eventually join that list. A long list that grows with each passing day. It is a very sick game, and one I will expose fully on the chapters about murder by numbers. On the subject of 1984, I was telling my followers all along the campaign trail that the Donald Apprentice Trump character was a work of 1984 because he was twisting facts, recreating history, saying one thing one day, the opposite the next, and it wasn't by chance. No, not at all, and far from it. You see, in 1984, the actual year Donald Trump became a TV celebrity, which if you do the math, was 33 years before he would become president, in the land of the federal city, Washington, D.C. If you've never read the book 1984, make it the next one you read after this, as it is about a nation and a time very much like ours. The main character's name in the same book is Winston, also having reduction gematria of 33, not unlike Drumpf, the original last name for the Trump family. Not that the two are alike. And beyond 1984, by knowing the code, let's look it up. There it is. Winston Drumpf, full reduction 33. That's not similar at all. No connection there. So in beyond 1984, by knowing the code, it made sense for a celebrity to be the 45th president, especially one as popular as Trump, and who was seen as an authority figure because of the reality TV series The Apprentice, which we now know what he was truly an apprentice for. After all, in reduction gematria, celebrity equates to 45. There it is. George Orwell's 1984 leaps to top of an Amazon bestseller list, and this was released by USA Today Network. Sean Rossman, published at 9:32 a.m. Eastern Time on January 25th, 2017. What made me grin days after the inauguration of Trump was the national news headline that came January 25th, 2017, a date far from arbitrary. Amazon reported that suddenly, out of nowhere, 1984 was the best-selling book on their website. Now I have absolutely zero doubt this report was 100% false, and only made to mock what was taking place in the world, with Mr. 1984 himself, newly installed in the Oval Office, a term summing to 49 and 50 in reduction gematria, same as Washington. Keep in mind, as we learned, Trump is a Jesuit, and both Jesuit and the Jesuit order equates to 84. Similar to how the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, a name summing to 58 in Gematria, has 84 birth numerology. Also a number of Masonry. Just as a reminder, from Trump's June 14th birthday to the Pope's December 17th birthday is a span of 187 days, matching the Gematria of Society of Jesus, and being that big number in DC that was once part of the Catholic colony, thus why Virginia and Maryland, Virgin Mary, surround the capital, tying in nicely with the riddle of Trump attending Fordham University in 1964, the Jesuit school. Here's another article here. George Orwell's Tale of a Sad, Grim Future, the book 1984, has experienced a recent resurgence, climbing to the top of Amazon.com's bestseller list of books. The book, written in 1949, required reading for many in high school and college, was number 1 on the list on Wednesday morning. It's in such demand that publisher Penguin has ordered a 75,000 book reprint, CNN reported. That is a substantial reprint and larger than our typical reprints for 1984, a Penguin spokesman told CNN. Nielsen Bookscan, CNN reported, said the book sold 47,000 copies since President Donald Trump's November 8th election, which is up from last year. Equally as important, and also as a reminder, Orwell, the author of the famous title, was a member of the Fabian Society, established in 1884, where Masonry also has reverse ordinal of 84, syncing with the United States of America, having reduction gematria of 84. And there it is there, United States of America and full reductions 84. Masonry is also 84, and reverse ordinal. No coincidence there. For a few more laughs, let us read the reporting from USA Today about 1984 climbing to the top of Amazon's charts. Notice the mention of the year it was written, 1949, a year coming 68 years before Donald John Trump, the CIA asset, took office, and how it had sold 47,000 copies since the November 8th election, a very specific number, which you can now know well, or at least without the 3 zeros at the end. Consider these stats came from Nielsen, which in gematria terms tells the story. Nielsen is 33 in reduction. As for the 75,000, you should know what the meaning of the number 75 is, as it is a very important one. Orwell's book has everything to do with the New World Order, or Jew World Order, and the politics of order out of chaos. It is the number 75 that symbolizes both of these things, as well as the Catholic Church, which throughout history has been at the heart of the New World Order. Again, recall it was them that first obtained the Kabbalah Code after the Crusades, which began what we now commonly refer to as the Cabal. The Cabal is 47 in reverse reduction. New World Order is 75 in reduction. Order out of chaos is 75 in reduction. Catholic Church is 75 in reverse reduction, Roman Catholic is 75 in reverse reduction, and Order is 75 in reverse ordinal. On the subject of the New World Order in 1984, a line you must know from the book is, who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Consider how on average, about once a year, the news will report on something being withheld from the public within the vaults of the Vatican, oftentimes pages of the Bible or relics from history. You would think more people would ask why, even though the answer is obvious. As a reader of this book, knowing what you now know, I think you can connect the rest of the dots from here, Truth Seeker. If you need a little nudge, it is because we are being lied to about everything, and some lies, they just can't be let out because they'd be too forthcoming, and the tyrants couldn't afford that. And oh, by the way, if you plug that 1984 motto into Gematrinator.com, you'll see it sums to 322 in reduction gematria, that special number connecting to the Abrahamic religions, as well as ancient mystery religions. On the subject, so let's check it out. There it is. I accidentally spelled it wrong, and and this one, so disregard that. Disregard this line. But there it is. 322. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past is 322 in full reduction. The same as ancient mystery religions in reverse ordinal and Abrahamic religions in reverse ordinal. There's no connection there. It's just a conspiracy, right? That's a coincidence. On the subject of order out of chaos in 1984, let's revisit the date of the headline about 1984 being the bestseller, which was January 25th, or 125, something like the number 125. In ordinal gematria, North Korea sums to 125. And I bring this up because George Orwell died in history just before the Korean War, a civil war where the United States fought on behalf of the South and Russia fought on behalf of the North. That war began June 25th, 1950, what would have been Orwell's 47th birthday if he had not died January 21st, 156 days short of the war, short of the start of the war. You know about 156, right? Think about what is taking place in the news right now, with a back and forth between Kim Jong-un, a name in ordinal gematria summing to 114, not unlike World War or Pearl Harbor, and Donald Trump, as well as Russia. For the record, the mainstream media made a big deal about Kim turning 33 years old in 2016, and again in 2017. Yeah, you read that right. Kim turned 33 years old in back-to-back years, which the media paid minds to both times. That also means that his birthday was changed from 1983 to 1984. So reminiscent of the book 1984, because history is always being changed on the go in that same fictional novel, which is no longer fiction because we are living it. For a moment, let's decode the 33 gematria in Kim and the 114 gematria in his full name. Kim Jong-un is 114 in ordinal, and Kim is 33 in ordinal. If you are not aware, North Korea is owned and operated by the NWO. Same as the United States of America, same as Russia. We're deep in the game, people. What the NWO banker tyrants love to do with the nations they control with dollars and debt is pit them against each other, using the respective medias they control to keep the people of the respective nations in a perpetual state of confusion. Again, it is straight from Orwell's book, where the people of the nation of Oceania know they are constantly at war, but are uncertain of the exact reasons why, other than there is some threat out there, overseas, that needs to be dealt with, which is constantly reminded of in the media. Speaking of Oceania, let's check the gematria, knowing that Freemason equates to 42 and 48. Oceania is 48 in ordinal, and Oceania is 42 in reverse reduction, like Freemason. There it is, Truth Seeker. I don't know how to say that nation. Oceania. 48 in ordinal, like Freemason. In reverse full reduction. There it is there too. And Oceania in reverse full reduction is 42, like Freemason in full reduction. In case you're reading and having a hard time accepting the fact that the United States, Russia, and North Korea are controlled by the same entity, I'll ask you to simply go through history, recent and past, and decode using what you know now. You'll prove to yourself that this is the case, and just think about Russia and the United States on the surface. Two nations that have so much in common, from World War involvement to atomic and nuclear weapons programs, to the space race, to the Cold War. On the subject of the Cold War, I almost forgot to tell you about this very important 113 in history. A fake fear-mongering story, and kept the people in their basements for decades. Here in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, where I grew up, it's common for homes in their backyard to have bomb shelters, because so many people thought a big one was about to be dropped on their head at any given minute. Again, fear controls, and fear sells. I know whoever was building those shelters made out like a bandit. If you want to revisit how fear was instilled then, seek out the 1951 film Duck and Cover, which was made for children, where the tyrants love to sell the fear early and often. Please feel free to practice your gematria skills on that title as well. So Cold War is 113 in reverse ordinal. And here's Duck and Cover, 121, 49, 203, 608. I don't know, Zach, what am I supposed to see there? That said, just because something awful hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. This point leads me back to the biblical riddles I was talking about with the selection of Trump. So let's take another gander at his campaign slogan, taken right from Ronald Reagan's 1980 presidential run. Make America Great Again. The motto has reverse ordinal gematria of 404, which also happens to be the number of verses in the book of Revelation, sharing gematria of 49, and being the final book of the Bible, where the warning signs from the same book are trumpets. If only people could be as excited about the truth as they are about this game. It's just playing soccer over here, yelling their brains out. Ah! Oh yeah! 404 is the same number of verses in the book of Revelation. Make America Great Again and Revelation. So Donald J. Trump is 49 in full reduction. Revelation is 49 in full reduction. So, being the final book of the Bible, where the warning signs from the same book are trumpets, not too far from Trump Pence, as in the presidential ticket the Orange Man ran with. Those warning signs are about the coming destruction. As we covered earlier, the name Mike Pence sums to 45 forwards and backwards, just the same as Holy Bible, and connecting to the gematria of geometry, further proving that this riddle is no joke. There it is, Truth Seeker. Geometry's 45 in full reduction, Holy Bible's 45 in full reduction, Mike Pence is 45 in full reduction, and also 45 in reverse full reduction, the same, forwards and backwards. Like he said, Make America Great Again is 404 in reverse ordinal, the number of verses in the book of Revelation, where Donald J. Trump and Revelation have the same gematria. Donald J. Trump is 49, Revelation's 49, in full reduction. In Revelation, the 7 trumpets are mentioned in chapters 8 through 11, not unlike the date of the 2016 election, November 8th, 11/8. Which can be expressed as 811 or 11/8. Equally as intriguing, the ordinal gematria of trumpets is 132, which corresponds with the number of rooms in the White House, also 132 in count, and the gematria of United States of America, as well as Catholic Church, which has been a biblical nation from its inception, especially with the establishment of Philadelphia, like the Church of Philadelphia, which is mentioned in the book of Revelation. Trumpets is 132 in ordinal, United States of America is 132 in reverse reduction, and Catholic Church is 132 in ordinal. Speaking of Philadelphia, you need to know this, so I'll tell you now. The city was founded October 27th, 1682, a date with numerology of 135, a reshuffling of the biblical number 153, as you learned about. Even more, in Revelation, the Church of Philadelphia is written to regarding the Key of David, also having ordinal gematria of 135. So the city of Philadelphia was founded October 27th, 1682. So 10 plus 27 plus 16 plus 82 is 135, like the Key of David is 135 in ordinal. Revelation 3:7 in the New International Version states, to the angel of the church in Philadelphia writes, "These are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. The key of David is an instrument in bringing about prophecy. David in ordinal gematria sums to 40, same as United States in reduction and US in ordinal. What's interesting about this riddle is the Church of Philadelphia is supposed to bring justice to the earth, holding the synagogue of Satan accountable. For a moment, think about where Hillary Clinton had her DNC convention. It was in Philadelphia, the nation's capital, from 1790 to 1800, beginning 7 days after Trump's July 25th, which was his 25th birthday, which was exactly 106 days before the selection of November 8th. As we learned, the prophecy has ordinal gematria of 106, and Revelation is the book of prophecy and destruction. Fittingly, the word destroy also sums to 106 using ordinal gematria. At the same time, Hillary in reduction equates to 40, similar to how email sums to 40 in ordinal. Remember the big deal with Hillary and her email? It was all mocking. Supposedly there was 33,000 emails in question, where the number 33 matches the reduction gematria of Clinton. 33,000 emails, 33 in reduction is Clinton, or Clinton in reduction is 33. As is told in What Happens, her book, she lost largely because of this story to the candidate who is of the synagogue of Satan. But at the same time, so was she. The email, the story of 33,000 emails. I should mention that St. John the Divine authors Revelation in light of the synagogue of Satan and the warning to the Church of Philadelphia in Revelation chapter 3, where all names are summing to 223. St. John the Divine is 223 in reverse ordinal. For a bit more of the mocking, let's jump to what happened on Trump's 88th day in office, as it was war-related, and Revelation is a book about the battles in heaven and on earth before the Second Coming. As we covered, the number 88 is a big one for Trump and the Republican Party, being the Republican president endorsed by 88 generals on September 6th, 2016, as covered. Prior to the news of April 17th, Trump's 88th day as the man in charge, I told people all year, just wait until the date rolls around. It is going to be ripe, and it is going to be all about 88. It certainly didn't disappoint. If you recall, the top news story of the day was a report of a military helicopter crash at Beacon Bay Golf Course in Maryland. Let us now decode the numerological mocking. Helicopter crash is 88 in a single reduction. Breton Bay Golf Course is 88 in reduction, and Maryland is 88 in ordinal. I wish that were all, but it only gets worse from there. This helicopter crash came 3 days after Trump deployed troops to Somalia, which was April 14th, the most troops deployed to the country since the incident known as Black Hawk Down in 1994, which Hollywood made a movie about, all but solidifying the fact that it never happened. As a rule of thumb, if Hollywood had made a movie about something, you can know it never took place. Hollywood is only interested in propaganda-based films, and appropriately, both Hollywood and propaganda have gematria of 48, syncing with Freemason and Donald Trump. There it is. Hollywood's 48 in reduction, propaganda's 48 in reduction, also 33 in reverse full reduction. Hollywood is. Freemason is 48 in reverse full reduction. Donald Trump's 48 in a full reduction. What a coincidence. Keep in mind that the number 223 is the 48th prime number because it connects directly with Breton Bay Golf Course and Black Hawk Down. Breton Bay Golf Course is 223 in ordinal. Black Hawk Down is 223 in reverse ordinal. Now let us examine the parallel between Somalia, Maryland, and Black Hawk Down, which all equate to 47, connecting to Trump and the G-men further. Black Hawk Down is 47 in Chaldean, Somalia is 47 in reverse reduction like Beast in ordinal. As for the ordinal value of beast, the date of the incident connects to the number of the beast, as does the gematria of helicopter. Before decoding the relevant gematria terms, notice how the dates April 17th can be written 17-4, not unlike the number 174. Number of the beast is 174 in ordinal. Helicopter is 666 in Sumerian. April 17th, 2017 was also a date with numerology of 58, and coming 58 days before Trump's 71st birthday, June 14th, 2017. Okay, that's his birthday, June 14th. I don't know what that last July 25th one was, which again is also the US flag's birthday. 4 plus 17 plus 20 plus 17 equals 58. 58 days before the winner of the 58th election's birthday. I am Batman, Trump tells boy on helicopter ride. Written by Thomas Lake, CNN. Updated on 7:31 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, August 16th, 2015. On the subject of helicopter, shortly after Trump announced he was running for president, he made national news for telling a young boy he was Batman while he was on a helicopter. In reverse Sumerian, Batman also equates to 666. The story came on August 16th, the 228th day of the year, leaving 137 days remaining. Recall how 137 connects to Kabbalah in Hebrew, as well as Washington, D.C., White House, government, and authority in English. On the subject of Kabbalah and 666, that connects to the darker half of the study, Qliphoth, which also has the 666 gematria, as an ordinal gematria and death in Sumerian. As for it being the 228th day of the year, the number connects to the United States of America in ordinal gematria and death in Sumerian. The death part is fascinating because the next day, August 17th, it would be reported that a Maryland Batman impersonator was killed in a car wreck. A 51-year-old man known for visiting sick children in hospitals. Think about it, based on what Trump had told a child just the day prior, there could only be one Batman in the Maryland, Virginia area, in the Maryland, Virginia region. Then on August 19th, it would be reported that Yvonne Craig was dead, who played Batgirl in the TV show Once Upon a Time. Following the pattern of Batman-related deaths in connection to Trump, Adam West would die at age 88, June 9th, 2017, 140 days after Trump became the face of Washington. And in reverse ordinal, Washington sums to 140. At the same time, it was a span of 141 days, connecting to the gematria of 33, reminding that the 33rd episode of Batman pays tribute to the Masonic Order, Skull and Bones. Also, regarding Qliphoth, there is a belief about killing others to gain energy and power, and as we know, Trump likes power. Batman is 666 in reverse Sumerian. I am Batman is 74 in ordinal. Killing is 74 in ordinal. Masonic is 74 in ordinal. Just before the bogus helicopter crash of April 17th by the numbers, there was another war-related matter from April 4th, 4-4, our number connecting to military. Somewhere, I hope Netanyahu is reading this right now and deciding to remain silent for not just 44 seconds, but instead the rest of his life, because the gig is up. On this same day, April 4th, 2017, the report was a sarin gas attack in the town of Khan Sheikhoun. Both the type of attack and location share ordinal gematria of 144, the same as the date of the incidents, numbers that are no strangers to death, destruction, and killing. Sarin gas attack is 144 in ordinal, also 144 in ALW Kabbalah, and Khan Sheikhoun is 144 in ordinal. April 4th is 144 in ordinal. 44 is 144 in ordinal. Killer is 144 in Jewish gematria. Kill is 44 in ordinal. Don't forget, Trump is the 44th person to be president. When Obama was in office, number 44, there was a similar propaganda story from August 21st, 2013. That incident happened in the town of Ghouta, Syria, also equating to 144. In Ordinal, it was said to be a deadly attack, with reportings of fatalities ranging from the low hundreds to the thousands. What's interesting about the date August 21st, the 234th day of the year, leaving 132 days remaining, is how it connects to the number of the beast, as well as death. August 21st can be written 21/8, similar to 218. As I write this, I have received multiple letters in my physical mailbox telling me that my last day on this earth will be February 18th, 2018, a date that can be expressed 21/8, or 218. But they don't scare. These same goons began mailing me when I was 31 years old, telling me my 33rd birthday would be my last. And here I am at the age of 34, about to release the book that has been more than 4 straight years of work. I don't doubt it. He's 35 now. Death is 218 in English Extended. Back on topic, the connection to the number of the beast is when you add the day number 234 to its reflection 432, which equates to 666. Recall, the first 144 decimal points of pi total 666, bringing the connections full circle. And at the same time, don't forget how the number 132 connects to United States of America, as well as the number of rooms in the White House since August 21st. Leaves 132 days left in the year. That's what Goegal says. Number of rooms in the White House, 132. Later this chapter, you'll also learn what the name United States of America has to do with circles and cycles, beyond America and circle sharing ordinal gematria of 50. After the August 21st attack, the man in the White House, along with Skull and Bones member John Kerry, both began beating the drum for war, saying we needed to put boots on the ground in Syria. Fittingly, the date of the attack had numerology of 42, also connecting to war as well as World War. Thankfully, we didn't go to war then, but now it is years later and Trump is threatening with the same message. War is 42 in ordinal, and August 21st, 2013 can be written 8/21/13, 8 plus 21 plus 13 equals 42. The word war also has satanic gematria of 147, connecting with the gematria of chemical weapons, where in both the August 21st, 2013 attack and the April 4th, 2017 attack, it was a false chemical weapons attack to blame. Both instances being something straight from the film Wag the Dog, which is a must-watch if you haven't seen it. So he's recommended 3 films here. Duck and Cover, well, 3, he recommended, and 1 book he says read 1984, and watch this film, Wag the Dog. Before I tell you a bit about that film, let's examine the gematria of chemical weapons in relation to war, while keeping in mind that April 4th is the 94th day of the calendar year. Our number that when written out as 94 has gematria summing to 147, just the same as Freemasonry and conspiracy. War equals 147 in satanic gematria. Chemical weapons equals 147 in ordinal. As for Wag the Dog, it's a fictional film about a US president who has slept with a young girl, a Firefly girl, which is supposed to be the equivalent of a Girl Scout, who usually aren't any older than 12 years of age. This news in the movie breaks just before the president is up for re-election, so his campaign team has to figure out a way to change the news from the story of underage sex with a preteen, which is crushing, to something else, so the president can secure a second term. What the president's top strategist decides is they will create a fictional war, just for television, to change what the mind's eye of the masses is on. Because as the strategist explains, you cannot take a war president out of office. something we heard a lot when Bush was running for re-election against John Kerry, the two members of the same elite Masonic fraternity at Yale, who we will learn more about ahead. So what's going to happen during Trump's re-election, guys? There's some serious connections going on here. So what happens? The fictional war with Atlanta is launched in the film, with Albania is launched in the film, using the most talented Jewish director in Hollywood, and the plan proves successful before the end credits roll. As the credits do begin rolling, you hear a news report of how the same Hollywood director was found dead in his mansion, of course, to help cover up the lie he participated in. Along the path of the film, things achieved by the campaign team include creating fictional history from the past and making a part of the historic record in the Library of Congress, the creation of a false war that isn't happening anywhere besides a Hollywood studio, the creation of a fake military unit, the 303 Detachment, led by a hero named Old Shoe, having reduction gematria of 33. So I'm thinking a fake military unit, the Space Force. There's something there. There's no 33s in Space Force or the Space Force. We got 124, 61, 227, 65, 91, 46, 179, 53. So they create a fake military unit, the 303 Detachment, led by a hero named Old Shoe, having reduction gematria of 33, who they release from prison so that they can more easily contrive the false identity and a number of other things. In the film, you get to hear NPR talking about the false history as if it is real, and adding to the mockery, it is on channel 92.9, not far off from 929, the number of chapters in the Old Testament, 929, and matching the Jewish gematria of the United States of America. Not to be outdone, and following on the coattails of Wag the Dog, in 1998, Bill Clinton would come under fire for the Monica Lewinsky sex scandal, a Jewish woman. And he would send the United States military off to fight in the Kosovo War, where Kosovo is right next door to Albania, the same location the fake war is fought in the film, again as a distraction from the unwanted news headlines about sexual-related matters. Keep in mind, see, dude, us truth seekers, we gotta learn from people like this. See how stoked they are? They're just screaming their heads off over here about a game. They're majorly enthusiastic. That's how we have to be. This game of life, fighting the tyrannical government. I mean, Augustus Sol Invictus, he's drinking goat's blood, but he has somewhat of the right idea of these people that are killing people and contriving news and staging and scripting sports and all this stuff, mocking us Goyim for being idiots and not knowing their code. We're not even that, no one, who's that excited about that? I mean, I would mock them too if I was like rigging their game and they're just getting this jacked or depressed about losing, right? Seriously. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're screaming their heads off over there. Continuing on. Keep in mind the film released in 97 and is exactly 97 minutes long, which is the same as 1 hour and 37 minutes, not too far off from the gematria of Washington, D.C., which sums to 137 in ordinal, same as White House in reverse ordinal. For another reminder, the number 137 is the 33rd prime, and both Clinton and Sex have gematria of 33. Even better, Monica Lewinsky sums to 97 in reverse reduction, when E is counted as 22, single reduction. And the name Monica Lewinsky also has gematria of 74, just the same as Masonic. Monica Lewinsky in single reverse reduction is 97, like the year Wag the Dog was released, which talks about a fake war so that the president can be re-elected. Bill Clinton served 2 terms. Maybe because you cannot take a war president out of office. Just mocking us, showing us exactly what they're doing. No one knows, because in what's forced down our throats in the mainstream propaganda, Hollywood creations, that's touted as truth every day, forced to us in all public locations, in laundromats, radio stations, in the airports, is this lying, contrived, false media. Not the truth. You gotta seek it out. I never heard of the Wag the Dog film. It's like, so there it is, Monica Lewinsky's 97 in a single reverse reduction, and also 74 in single reduction. Just the same as Masonic. Beyond the gematria, think about these parallels and the fact that this was truly done to the population of the United States, with almost no one blinking an eye. Again, as stated in the Talmud, Goyim are very stupid people, and you can abuse them and they won't take much notice. If you watch the film on a device where you can track the time as it plays, notice what happens at the 33rd second as it begins. Right on the nose, at the second count of 33, the answer to the question, why does a dog wag its tail, comes up. The answer is because a dog is smarter than its tail. In other words, the question reads, why does a Jew wag a goyim around? And the answer is because a Jew is smarter than a goyim. Don't forget that in gematria, goyim equates to 33. Well, they thought wrong, because this goyim has seen through the false Jew bullshit his whole life. And now I'm going to lead the rest of my people to see just as I do, so the game can end. As funny as these long noses can be, and Wag the Dog is very funny, their humor isn't worth it. As for the gematria of Wag the Dog, it plays on the Holy Bible, the source of the Kabbalah code, and factors into the most recent chemical weapons false flag in Syria from April 4th, 2017, as well as the one prior, August 21st, 2013. Consider Syria is biblical land, and the mocking riddles are always biblical. Let us now decode the relevant terms. Wag the Dog's 153 in reverse ordinal, April 4th, 153 in reverse ordinal, Gouda Syria 153 in reverse ordinal, and Holy Bible is 153 in reverse ordinal. Let us not forget 153 is the 17th prime number, connecting back to Mason and God, where the Masons standing tall for the moment think they're on the level. In reduction gematria, Wag the Dog equates to 45, matching geometry, Gematriot, and Holy Bible. There it is, all the 45s. I just remembered Mike Pence from earlier. 45s, Mike Pence, Holy Bible, Geometry, Gematriot, and Wag the Dog. All of them. Full reduction, which Zach says can be the most important one, maybe Hebrew or Jewish too. Let us not, I should mention, so there's this Syria gas attack reportedly kills dozens, including children. Oh crap. Get out. Stop it. By Kareem Kader, by the multiple people, blah, 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 blah. That's the most important, just the headline, screw it. I should mention the April 4th, hey, a cat. I should mention the April 4th, 2017 attack in Syria was referred to in the media as the Syria gas attack, having the familiar gematria of 223 in reverse ordinal. As you'll recall, Masonic has Jewish gematria of 223 and ordinal gematria of 74. The April 4th attack came 74 days after Trump became president, or said otherwise, on his 75th day as president. We learned earlier how the number 75 represents the New World Order, as well as the motto, Order Out of Chaos. Also important, and as another reminder, 223 is the 48th prime, connecting to propaganda and hoax in gematria. for a bit more well-managed chaos by the government and media, which are one and the same. You should know that all of Donald Trump's firings have been what I call the Apprentice Code, where the hit line from the reality TV show was "You're fired." Not to toot my own horn, but I told my followers this would no doubt be a narrative with Trump as president before he fired anyone, knowing full well how the long noses like to play the people for fools, staging the obvious to mock our existence. On my blog at freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, I have covered each firing up to the time of the publishing of this book, and it is a numerous list as expected. Just as The Apprentice fired someone once a week on the show, he has done pretty much the same while in the White House. For the most remembered of the firings thus far, it was that of James Comey, the FBI director, which couldn't have been any more numerological. Let us now decode just how staged this whole ordeal was, beginning May 9th, 2017, the date of the firing. This day came exactly 147 days after Comey's 56th birthday, which was on December 14th, 2016. At this point, you're familiar with 147 and its relevance to Washington, D.C. So let me show you how the number 56 factors into the equation. Also important. As we decode, keep in mind, all-seeing eye is Masonic terminology, as D.C. is the old Society of Jesus stomping grounds. And truly still is. Washington, D.C. is 56 in reduction. President is 56 in a single reduction. All-Seeing Eye is 56 in reduction. Society of Jesus is 56 in reduction. Regarding the term All-Seeing Eye, it also has a parallel to Federal Bureau of Investigation. And the list of 133 we learned about earlier regarding the President, White House, and governments. All-Seeing Eye is also 133 in a single reverse reduction. Federal Bureau of Investigation is 133 in reduction. Speaking of federal, the day of Comey's firing had the numbers to match the gematria of the word. Recall we learned federal, as well as Freemason and conspiracy, equates to 51, a number matching the date numerology of the firing, May 9th, 2017. 5 plus 9 plus 20 plus 17 equals 51. Like federal, Freemason, and conspiracy. The date Comey was fired. The date, May 9th, written 5-9, is a bit like 59, which is the 17th prime number. In ordinal gematria, FBI equates to 17. Consider that of the Trump stories in 2017. This is arguably the biggest to date. FBI equals 17 in ordinal. I think I said that right. That's the day he was fired. Yeah. The 17th prime number. 59 is the 17th prime number. FBI is 17 in ordinal. What led up to the numerological fallout between Donald Trump and James Comey in the puppet show that took place began on March 20th, which was a span of 51 days before the May 9th firing. On March 20th, Comey, in a federal hearing, complicated the Trump campaign in a conspiracy with Russia that had to do with sabotaging the Hillary Clinton campaign. What was interesting about this happening on March 20th, which is the 79th day of the year, is that in history, the first head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, died at age 77 on a date with 79 numerology, May 2nd, 1972, where Federal Bureau, I'm just thinking, I have to stop because I'm thinking this, I've grew up with like Zachs in my life, spelled with a Z-A-C-H. I wonder if there's a connection there. No, looks like there's not. But it's just interesting. I grew up with a Zach that lived next door to me, and he was like a hero to me, and then I had another Zach in my life who was like another hero to me, and now Zach Hubbard's like a hero to me. And it's just like, what's going on there? Honestly, I don't know. I can't figure that one out right now. So what led up to the numerological fallout between Donald Trump and James Comey in the puppet show that took place began on March 20th, which was a span of 51 days before the May 9th firing. On March 20th, Comey, in a federal hearing, complicated the Trump campaign in a conspiracy with Russia that had to do with sabotaging the Hillary Clinton campaign. What was interesting about this happening on March 20th, which is the 79th day of the year, is that in history, the first head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, died at age 77, on a date with 79 numerology, May 2nd, 1972, where Federal Bureau, in reverse reduction, equates to 79, and the agency was established March 22nd, 1935, a date having numerology of 79 as well, a number connecting to murder in ordinal gematria, as well as the synagogue of Satan. In reduction, recall the death of Richard Hofstadter, who coined the term conspiracy theory, and who died 79 days after his birthday. Speaking of which, March 22nd can be expressed as 22-3, not unlike 223, connecting to the synagogue of Satan in ordinal. If you are not aware, the real purpose of the FBI, just the same as the CIA, has always been to control the masses with fear and intimidation, nothing more. The FBI does not help fight real crime. It is only here to protect the tyrants and to steer the herd. For those of you who are new to my work, I have a history of recording phone calls to the FBI and exposing this reality. Every time I call in to report crime, I am hung up on, proving that they couldn't care less. As now you know why. I also urge you to do the same by calling these fraudulent government agencies so you can see what they are for yourself. Now let's do the math on these key dates mentioned. Call the FBI on some people, see what they do. So May 2nd, 1972, 5 plus 2 plus 72 equals 79. And then March 22nd, 1935, 3 plus 22 plus 19 plus 35 equals 79. So there's a connection between those two dates. March 22nd, 1935 being the date the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, was founded. It was established. And the first head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, died on May 2nd, 1972. So he died on a date with connecting numerology with the date of the founding of the FBI. Don't lose sight of what also stands out about May 2nd, the date of J. Edgar Hoover's death in history. As we learned, government and authority summed to 52, as well as President and White House. May 2nd is also the 122nd day of the year, corresponding with Freemason in Francis Bacon Gematria and Elohim in Jewish Gematria. When Hoover passed, Nixon was president, and Hoover's death came 114 days after Nixon's 59th birthday, January 9th, 1972. There it is again, 59. As we learned, Kill has Gematria of 59 in the Jewish format, and the word Freemasonry in reverse reduction, as well as Hebrew, also sums to 59. One more time, this is why history repeats itself. Plus, as we also know, President of the United States sums to 114. If you count the full span of days, it was 115, connecting to Freemasons, Masonic, and killing, equally as important decodes. For a bit more on John Edgar Hoover, let me show you how his name connected to FBI as well. FBI is 102 in Sumerian, and John Edgar Hoover is 102 in a single reduction. Also interesting, if you use simple reduction gematria on his name, it sums to 84 instead of 102. I think he meant to say single. Matching United States of America, which has gematria of 84 and 102. As stated before, if you apply this code to US history, you'll come to terms with the fact that every detail of it is this way. And it is because this is how the Masonic Mafia operates without exception. This code is not to be taken lightly. It is the operating system always. By understanding the code, it also reminds you what the word his story is about. Now you know who he is, or better put, who they are, and what they are about. They claim to be serving God, but at the top, they are serving Satan. Since we brought up Tricky Dicky, we might as well tie in the wiretap claim with Trump, who in 2013, 43 years after the resignation of Nixon, in 74 accused the prior president, a Democrat, of wiretapping his office. Remember, Nixon, a Republican, same as Trump, was busted for supposedly wiretapping the Democratic National Committee, DNC. Not by chance, Trump's accusation against Obama. Not by chance, Trump's accusation against Obama came on March 4th, a date that can be expressed 4-3, similar to 43, and which was exactly 43 days after he became president on January 20th, 2017. Even better, in Gematria, Richard and wiretap sum to 43, as does Masonic and other key terms we will learn about later. As we decode, keep in mind that despite Obama being number 44, he was truly the 43rd person to be president. Wiretap is 43 in reverse reduction, Richard is 43 in reduction, and Masonic is 43 in reverse reduction. Of course, Masonic also has the ordinal gematria of 74, similar to the year Richard Nixon resigned, 74, whose name also equates to 74 in reduction, not unlike the reverse ordinal gematria of Comey, also summing to 74. Prior to being fired, Comey also upset Trump by saying the allegations of Obama wiretapping were unfounded. As we decode the relevant terms, consider the name Comey in light of Donald Trump's hairstyle, which is known as a comb over. Yes, the puppet show is really this stupid. And all made by the long noses to mock the goyim. Hey long nose, if you're reading this, you're not better. And pretty soon my foot is going through the back of your head along with the rest of the people reading this book, at least the ones who have a pair. Richard Nixon is 74 in reduction. Comey 74 in reverse ordinal. As for the phrase wiretapping, it has multiple parallels to Donald Trump as well. In Satanic Gematria, wiretapping and Donald Trump both equate to 523. In Ordinal Gematria, Donald Trump and wiretapping equal 138, just the same as the word federal in reverse ordinal. So does the name Paul Manafort, who has been another sore spot for the administration. In Satanic Gematria, Don also equates to 138 too. In light of what Don is, it's no coincidence so many Satanic Gematria ciphers pertain. I should mention that at this same point in history, it was the law of the land that the feds had the right to have surveillance over the people of this nation, so long as the feds thought someone might be a terrorist. In addition to the puppet show by the numbers, all of these stories are rubbed in our face for a reason. And this no doubt was part of it. For a few more notes on Richard Nixon, in light of him not finishing his term, which is also the likely fate of Donald Trump, we should note he resigned August 9th, 1974, the 221st day of the year. As mentioned, this number connects to the Bavarian Illuminati and Trump becoming president on his 221st day of being 70 years old. Even better, Nixon resigns 212 days after his 61st birthday, where White House has a reduction gematria of 61, a number symbolizing time, when S is counted for 10. And the man who replaced him, Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr., has a name with ordinal gematria summing to 212. Just another reminder, everything is by the code in U.S. history. Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr. is 212 in ordinal. For the record, Ford in ordinal gematria so 212, like how Nixon resigned 212 days after his 61st birthday. Replaced by the dude with 212 gematria in ordinal. For the record, Ford in ordinal gematria sums to 43, bringing us back to wiretap, and his full name in Chaldean sums to 77. Reminding us that DC is the G-spot. I read that chapter already. So Ford is 43 in ordinal. Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr. is 212 and 77 in Chaldean. Don't even get me started on Henry Ford, dead in 47 on April 7th, 47. If you want some kicks, run the gematria on his name. It's Scottish Rite City, if you know what I mean. At the same time, more on point, I should mention again, there are 147 windows on the White House, and there's a reason the tribute to 147 is associated with the number of windows, in light of it being the city named after the Freemason George Washington. I'm already at an hour here, guys. I think I'm gonna call it. We probably got maybe 2 or 3 more hours left of this chapter. Leave me some comments. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts, yo. Peace, truth, seekers. I don't know if peace is what I'm gonna be saying anymore.